This is the Headwind Gold from Beaufort Ink. So far I've already looked at the Aquilo and Solano, so please do look at my other videos if you want to see information on those. The other two were very similar, and this one is as well, apart from some slight differences. My first negative, as always, is pure and simply the amount of plastic. Yes, keep this nice strong bag, but wrap all the individual components in tissue paper with a little bit of masking tape, and you can do away with all these plastic bags that are just going to go into landfill. All three of these pens use the same brass tube, so it means that you can just use an 1132 drill bit and cut all your blanks the same size. So if you've got all these different kits, you can just go off and just put whichever blanks you want on all the tubes, and they all use the same bushes, so you can turn them down, and then it's only at the point of assembly you can decide which pen you want to put them on. All three of these pens use the Parker style refill. The Beaufort one, I believe, is about £2.50. It's specially made for them, so it's more of a premium nib, and I dare say there will be a big difference in writing quality if you use a cheap one. So the first thing on this is the nib. Now, looking at the instructions, it shows that there should be a section connector, which there is on the other two pens, before you put the nib in. Now, I cannot see how that would come off, and I think that is all one piece. Normally you would just unscrew this to then put your refill in, but I have checked and you can do it from the other end. So the clip on this is different to the other two pens. This one is just a very straight shape. The back part where it's been bent over has been tucked away nicely, so there's little chance that should catch anything. It also has, I don't know whether it shows on the camera there, it has a nice little bobble on there as well, and that's really smooth. The twist mechanism is the standard from all pens, all really smooth, and that just screws into the top there, and then the finial part you push on the top. If that is certainly one piece which you're not going to be able to take off afterwards, then once you need to change your refill, you could just unscrew this top totally, and you can drop everything through the top there. So that would be the other way, and I'd guess because all these are the same with the other two kits, you should be able to load the pen up the same way as well. I've used chamfuta, which I believe is a wood, certainly an African wood, possibly from Zimbabwe. I did mention when I opened this up that the instructions look totally different to the kit I've got here, that this nib looks all one section, and I did drop an email to Beaufort, and straight away Phil there gave me a phone call and just queried what I got there. He was actually really surprised. He said, well, in actual fact the instructions are right, and so is the kit right. This apparently is from old stock, which they didn't believe they had any of, so as soon as he got my email he ran across and checked all of his stock, and actually he found one box with probably about half a dozen kits in with this old style. So it doesn't actually make any difference with the pen, so you're not likely to get one like this if you go for the Headwind kit. It will be with that section connector, and if you want to see what it should be like, just look at my other reviews on ones like the Aquilo and Solano. You'll see that they've got a separate connector in there like that you push into the tube rather than the nib itself. This one just means that you can't unscrew the nib on this particular one, which I think is why they've changed it. They've standardized them throughout the whole range. Just means you have to undo the twist mechanism itself to drop the refill in. So it's just a slight difference, and it has no impact on the pen. So first of all, on here is just a case of pushing the clip in. This is a different clip to the other two that I looked at, which use the same bushings and tube on here. It's got a slight little ridged bit on the back there. It's all nice and smooth, so it won't actually catch anything, but it's a very flat clip, so it's going to be pushing down. Just deciding which way I want to put this, because I've actually got some voids on here, so you just need to decide where you want to put the clip. Now you might want to just either put something under the clip or lift it up as you push it in, just to reduce the chance of any marking on your tube. So I will just put that in place. I'll just lift it up a little bit with my fingernail. It's a long piece to push in, so it might require a little bit more pressure. Then it's on with the nib where you'd normally put the coupler on in this case. And I will say as well, it's actually easier putting the coupler on with the nib because it's much longer and it's actually a little bit more difficult to keep that straight. So then this way you can drop your kit in, wind in that, and just push that on the end, and that's that done. So it's got a nice smooth action and the nib just sticks out just enough. That's sort of like the distance I prefer when I push the pens together. This is the finished Headwind pen from Beaufort Ink, and it's a little bit different actually compared to the other two which use the same bushings and brass tube. So first of all, the pen clip is very different. This one's a very flat one, where the other one has got like an indentation in it. The back on this is nice as well. It's a lot more sprung than the other two as well. The overall length of the pen is slightly shorter with the nib. Now I did show on the sort of like when the initial opening on this that this was different to the drawings, so you can't unscrew the nib like you can on the other ones, but that's only because this was from old stock, so please don't worry about that. If you buy this, it will have the section connector in there and you will be able to unscrew the nib. For me at the moment on this, if I want to change the refill, I've literally got to just unscrew the mechanism on the top there to get to your refill, and then it just goes back in again. This is very, very different as well because you've got all this knurled bit on the top and bottoms. What it also gives as well is a little bit more grip. Now I've never really come across it before other than with one person. Their only concern about some of the pens I make is because they're all down to metal, they're very slippery, and this one would certainly be more ideal with that knurled effect. So it's on the bottom end as well as the top, just the same as the other two. You've got a nice big section for your size of blank to show off your own work, whether it be wood or acrylic. Like with all of their range, they use all the same mechanism made in Germany, so it's all that nice smooth action, and the whole thing is finished off really well. I've just gone for the gold on this one, and there are a full range of other options as well. So again, for £7.45, £7.50, there's a lot of other pen kits out there which cost a lot more than this, and you won't get nowhere near as a good quality. And the good thing about this as well, you can buy the range of those three pens with the Solano and the Aquilo, and you just got to buy one set of bushings and possibly one drill bit, so you can make all three styles of pens without having to shell out extra money as well. Now if you're new to the channel, this is part of a pen kits series doing reviews. Please do subscribe, and there should be a playlist for where you can see all the videos. Thanks a lot for watching.